What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna talk about a rumored fight that's gonna happen next for Terence Crawford. According to Amir Khan, he heard that the next fight for Terence Crawford is gonna be against Kell, Special K Brook out of the UK. Something that we got a sense might be happening when Kell Brook was at the fight for Amir Khan and said that he wanted the fight. And also it's kind of a natural situation. It's a natural opponent for him, considering the way that Bob Arum does business a lot of times when he's trying to sell the idea of a big fight. Now I say sell the big idea of a fight, not necessarily build and make a big fight, but sell the idea of a big fight. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. Before I do though, let me remind you, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and also hit the notification bell so you know when we drop something. Also, check out OG Boxing Talk this Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with myself, KQKC Boxing, and the boxing historian, the YouTube boxing OG Boxing, Blood Boxing. Check out his channel, Blood Boxing. He's got this great documentary series he has out for Pernell Whitaker. So definitely check it out for you guys that are big fans of the serious side of boxing, the historical side of boxing. Check out my man Blood Boxing, and also check out my man Scrapbook Boxing. You can check him out on YouTube as well. I definitely got to put a plug out there for the boxing historians out there doing good work on YouTube. Also check out the Patreon. So let's chop it up before this storm comes through here. Kell Brook versus Amir Khan. This is a fight that I think we all, had a sense was going to be made when Kell Brook called out. Well, Kell Brook came to the fight after the Kell Brook came to the Amir Khan Terence Crawford fight that just took place on pay-per-view. And, this is a fight that, man, the real fight that should have been taking place before the Terence Crawford fight and I gotta say this, man, Kell Brook and Amir Khan should have happened, but for whatever reason, Amir Khan did not want that fight. And now that Amir Khan's got beaten again, quit after a hip punch, man, there's next to no interest in that fight. So now what's Kell Brook gonna do, man? Kell Brook winds up being the perfect foil for Terence Crawford in his next fight. And as we know, after the fight had taken place between Terence Crawford and Amir Khan, Terence Crawford in the ring said something to the effect that he wanted Errol Spence Jr., but he needed the promoter to make the fight. Bob Arum said, got animated and said, Bob Arum, if Al Heyman doesn't, I'm going to call Al Heyman about this fight. If they don't make this fight next, then we need, people need to boycott the PBC. We hear recently from an interview that was done by Errol Spence that that to his knowledge, Bob Arum never called him. So as we know now, that fight's not going to happen. And more than likely, Bob Arum didn't have any intention on that fight happening. At least that's my belief. People familiar with the channel know that I don't believe, man. If you believe Bob Arum wants that Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight anytime soon, man, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Don't buy it, okay? Don't buy it. But I do believe, like I said in the intro to this video, that Bob Arum is very interested in selling the idea of a Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight, because that'll allow him to sell Terence Crawford fights from now until whenever that fight is or is not made. Similar to what they did with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. People remember how long it took for Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao to fight. But what not a lot of people don't necessarily think about is how much money was made by Bob Arum in anticipation of that fight. There was pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view for Manny Pacquiao, selling the idea that Manny Pacquiao was going to be the guy to beat Floyd Mayweather Jr., right? You had pay-per-view, I believe you had pay-per-view, of course, with Oscar De La Hoya. You had pay-per-view fight, and this is after, of course, after Manny Pacquiao turned, started fighting at campaigning at 147 pounds. I think he fought Antonio Margarito, Miguel Cotto, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, what's his name? Joshua Claudy, I mean, I can't remember each one of those were and whether each one of those were on pay-per-view, but I definitely recall when I looked at the top pay-per-views that have taken place, in the history of boxing, according to, well, pay-per-view hasn't been around that long, right? But you look at the pay-per-views that took place between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao, that there were several $million pay-per-view fights that were there for Manny Pacquiao, and all of those were in the lead up to a fight getting sold as a prequel to an eventual fight with, I guess prequel is not quite the right word, but a fight that was leading to a mega fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. This fight with Kell Brook seems to be almost perfectly in line with that particular model of doing things for Bob Arum, because it's a mutual opponent. Just like where Manny Pacquiao fought Ricky Hatton, Manny Pacquiao fought Miguel Cotto, he fought first, but he fought Oscar De La Hoya, he fought Ricky Hatton, and I think there might be another guy in there that he also fought that Floyd Mayweather Jr. had fought, but it was all sold for the idea that fight was going to happen, and Bob Arum made more money. If you look at the number of pay-per-view sales that he did for the fights leading up to Floyd Mayweather Jr., they exceed the amount of money that they made in the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. So you got all of that, and then he got the money for the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. So that was just a magical, huge money-making venture for Bob Arum, and I don't doubt for anything. And I honestly, man, I doubt the intelligence of people that don't think he's going to try to do that again. So, man, it's my dog over there about to going berserk trying to get to this next door neighbor's dog. That's what I see happening again. And like I said, Kell Brook is a perfect foil for that. Kell Brook is somebody that Errol Spence Jr. has already fought. And if Terence Crawford is able to beat Kell Brook more convincingly and more easily than Floyd Mayweather, than Errol Spence Jr. beat him, then that's going to be more fuel to the fire for arguing that Terence Crawford, that Terence Crawford is a better fighter, and get us arguing back and forth about that, get the conversation going back and forth about it, which would allow Bob Arum to sell another fight, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't find a way to get their hands to give Mikey Garcia a shot at that WBO belt, but we all know that Mikey Garcia ain't that stupid. Well, I don't know. He's not stupid. He got a lot of heart. I just wonder whether or not he's going to actually take that fight. No disrespect to Mikey Garcia, man. That's a bright young man, and I wish him really well. But you see what I'm saying? It's a good fight. It's a good fight for the resume of Terence Crawford, and just like Amir Khan said, because Amir Khan's point was, who else is he going to fight, right? So it's good for his resume. It helps build up a fight, that the potential of a fight that Bob Arum would want to sell, and it gives Terence Crawford somebody to fight, because he's not going to be able to fight any of the other champions because they're all booked. Errol Spence is fighting Sean Porter. Sean Porter is fighting Errol Spence. So that's the WBC and the IBF belt that's not going to be on the table. And then you got Keith Thurman, who's fighting the WBA super champion, who's fighting the WBA, man, he's fighting Manny Pacquiao, okay? The WBA is not a major championship belt, so I'm not even going to say that. I'm not giving the credit to the WBA regular belt. I'm not giving credit to the IBO belt. Though, man, we got too many belts for people to be giving credit to stuff like that. Even though Manny Pacquiao's a great fighter, man, no, I can't do it. So, all in all, this is predictable. As far as how the fight goes, I think that it's a good fight for Terence Crawford in this regard, because it's a real welterweight. To date, he did fight one welterweight when I'm saying a welterweight, a guy that started the campaign at welterweight, and a guy that could fight at a weight class higher, right? So far in the welterweight division, the fights that Terence Crawford has been against Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, and Amir Khan. Jose Benavidez has fought at 140 pounds. Amir Khan, I do believe, fought at 135 and 140 pounds. So he's not a big welterweight. And then, and Jeff Horn, I think, was somebody that is a good fighter, but he's not on the level of a Kell Brook. In Kell Brook, you get a real legitimate full-size 147-pounder, a big 147-pounder, a strong 147-pounder, and it's somebody that, and it's a good name for his resume. So, all in all, man, I'll take that fight, all things considered. What I'm hoping can happen for Terence Crawford, though, is I'm hoping they can get past this, that Bob Arum starts promoting this guy. This is wishful thinking. Starts really promoting him like he's the number one pound-for-pound fighter, takes a chance, does what he got to do to make this, does what he's got to do to make that, to get one of those unification fights for Terence Crawford. Even if it's not Errol Spence, even if it's Keith Thurman, and it ain't gonna be Keith Thurman. I don't know why I waste my time saying that, but you get my point. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll see what happens, and with that, I'm out. Peace.